This is a testimony. I've been putting this off. It's been a little over 2 years ago since it actually happened. So I'm not sure why I waited so long. I guess so I could like really understand um, in its fullness and would be able to explain it a lot better than had I went ahead and done it right directly after. I wouldn't have known where to start. Anyway, this testimony is involving my middle daughter, and she is 19, but at the time, she was fixing to turn 17. So this was it happened during it was like during the month of July. Everything bad happens in July. But anyway, so we were at home one late afternoon, me and my middle girl and my youngest daughter. She was 12 at the time, fixing to turn 12. And we were all together. We were in the living room. And my daughter, the oldest one that was there with me, the 19-year-old now, she was sitting there on a little couch, love seat thing. And she was just talking, just asking all kinds of different questions. I mean, the subjects were just all over the place. And then I noticed something really drew my attention, and she looked like she was about to go to sleep. And I looked at her, I said, "What is wrong with you?" And she's like, nothing. And she started to go back like that again. Well, I stood up, and she started to stand up like she was scared, and she started convulsing, and she fell back on the love seat. My youngest daughter, scared to death. She was scared out of her mind. And I really didn't know what was going on. I figured, I guess because of the look on her face, and she was starting to doze off. Figured she had taken something, and I kept asking her. What did you take? And she couldn't answer me. She could not answer me, and her jaws locked up. She tensed up all over. What she was doing is that she's going into seizures. So these were pretty bad. They were pretty bad. And then when I thought it was over and she was starting to loosen up some, and she had started back breathing normal, there was one that just seized hold of her. And I did everything I could do to keep her from hurting herself until it could sort of pass. But then she tensed up, and she stopped breathing. She just went limp. Her eyes even changed in look. There was no life in her body. And I had started to feel a slight panic, and I started saying, "No, no, 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 Lord, no, no, no." And all I could remember was this feeling of all the emotions draining out of my body. I had no sadness, no excitability, anxiety. I had nothing. It just completely drained out of my body like somebody turning on a water faucet. And it was gone. And I was standing there, and all I could do was go, and then I felt it. And if you ever feel this feeling, you won't ever forget it. But it was like there was an invisible elephant that come in the room. And I was looking at her. And her eyes, oh my gosh, the pupils were black, and it was so odd. And then I started going, and I started placing my hands on her chest and move. I don't know why I was doing that. And then I felt the elephant. I don't. It was like this big mass. It felt like it just sat on my back, like I couldn't even breathe. It was taking up the space in my chest and putting pressure on my lungs. I could not breathe. And then I felt some electricity. It felt like electricity, pure electricity, that went through my arms, and I could feel it arc out of the palms of my hands. And then once it did that, I heard, and it was like a light whisper, and it was almost a feminine like and childlike. And I heard the voice go, "She's okay." And it just echoed from one side of my head all the way through. And I was like, and I just kept looking at my daughter, and then all of a sudden she went like that. So I was totally freaking out. Now, what ended up happening is that she had gotten a suicidal thought, and I'm very big on prayer, and stuff. And if anybody that is familiar with with the walk with Christ, and you have a very active prayer life, you're going to get attacked, and that includes your family will get attacked. So things like this you really have to be on guard for. And I really didn't look for the signs of this, but she's never taken drugs, drank alcohol, or nothing. I do not have a complaint about her at all. And it just it shocked me. But what she did, she took an antidepressant, and it's what they commonly use to help people quit smoking, because I'm a smoker. I tried it, it didn't work. But I still had the stuff, and that's where she got it. She stole those, took those. She grabbed a bottle of simple Benadryl. And see, the antidepressant is like a stimulant for the nervous system, and the one that she took. And then you have the Benadryl, which was trying to bring her down, and her body didn't really know what to do. But she's very lucky to be alive. And me and her has had conversations about this. If she has tried to be careless with things, with the way she lives her life, before, and being a bit rebellious. And I have to remind her, you are here for a reason. I saw you. There was no life in you. It had left you. And she recalled being able to see herself standing in front of the mirror in the bathroom. I said, "Baby, you never went to the bathroom. You never got there. We were in the living room the entire time." She said, "Well, I remember looking at myself in the face." I said, "I believe you there, but you were not in your body." I've told her, God, undoubtedly God's got something big for you, because you're still here. But the Lord led me during these last 2 years to really understand exactly what happened that day. And we have the Holy Spirit living inside of us, but that full presence can still come upon us in order to heal the sick, raise the dead, so on and so forth. So it's like I don't know, last second boost. But this is something I just will never forget. Um, and she has a whole new lease on life, a whole new lease on life. In fact, she's been a blessing to other people because of it. You know, it's just it has had a positive impact. But what happened right after is when the ambulance come and picked her up. The paramedics took her outside. My neighbor had walked up and he said, "Oh, that's beautiful. Look at there." And I looked up and there was a double rainbow above the ambulance in the sky. And I thought, oh my goodness, you know. And there was some things I could really tell that the Holy Spirit had really come upon me, because I was seeing some of the metaphorical things that were in the Bible. Um, like I had, when I was sitting beside my daughter's hospital bed, there was I saw up under her bed this little skeleton, and it was black, and it was crawling across the floor. I thought, what is that? And I saw these, I don't know, it looked like an iguana, but it was solid black. And you could see its eyes and everything. And these things were crawling around up under the bed. And I really didn't understand at the time, but the Lord led me to the valley of the dry bones. So he has saved her more than once. And, but her belief, I think she hasn't really let that out yet. She's not really outgoing with it yet. She's not sure about how to go about that. But in terms of belief, she has seen enough. She has certainly seen and felt enough. And the Lord has blessed her. The Lord has blessed her. So I can't wait to see what he's got in store for her. But anyway, I thought, this might be helpful to somebody. Or, in terms of just curious about someone else's account with something like this. It's not every day you get miracles. But what I had to understand is that I couldn't believe more in the miracle than the miracle maker. And this is one thing that God did kind of scold me for. It wasn't really scolding, but it was brought to my attention. He said, I've loved you for the whole of your life. You believed in the things that I've shown to you. You had very little faith and doubted my existence. And that just made everything come crashing down. And I've been on fire for Jesus ever since. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and you have a nice day.